instead of thinking about how can you take risk, understanding risk, and then ultimately giving yourself enough runway to find, at long last, the right combination of business model, funding, customer understanding, whatever it takes, team, to actually achieve launch velocity and get your company going is the biggest gift that you can do for yourself as an entrepreneur. iRobot raised money 5 times. We raised money when things were good. So whenever things were going well, regardless of how much money we had in the bank, we sort of said, oh, must be time to raise money. And that was a good strategy because I think without exception, within 6 months of raising and closing that round, we needed it. So we bought ourselves the runway, and it can all work. So I'm going to tell you a brief story about one of my products that I'm very proud of, and that's the Roomba, and how we managed to get from all of those aborted attempts to a product where we sold over 3.5 million robots around the world. This is an old slide. So cleaning the home was a great application, but we had a couple problems. We didn't know how to clean. We didn't know how to manufacture. We were unfundable entirely and had no money. So under those circumstances, we founded the company. I don't know why that's there. And 6 years passed. I remind you of all the failed business models that may have happened over time, but we did do a few things right. This was one of them, and we entered into a strategic partnership with Johnson Professional, and this is a company that does industrial floor cleaning chemicals, and we spent 2.5 years with them developing an industrial floor cleaning robot. It's a very cool machine, ultimately didn't succeed, but we knew how to clean at the end of this partnership. We then built that toy you saw earlier. This was a very cool partnership, and we spent another 3.5 years working with Hasbro developing toys. We had this strategy of partnering where we would work for cost. We were a government contractor, so we were good at recording how many hours and pricing those hours, and we could go to the partner and say, look, we're not making any money. We're just covering our costs so that if we actually come up with something, this is a joint investment and we both deserve to share in the upside. So that worked. And we actually made Hasbro some money in this partnership. But more importantly, we knew how to manufacture. So now the year is 1997, 98, and we're a company that had a great background in robotics. We knew how to clean. We knew how to manufacture in the Far East because Hasbro had walked us around to all of the best manufacturing companies and have made introductions for us. It was one of these weird times when a robot business model actually looked sane compared to some of the things that were being funded around that time in the web space. And we were able to come up with a direct-to-consumer product named the CyberSuck. Luckily, we did not launch the CyberSuck as such. We had enough sense to realize that that was not a good name. However, it was the best name, I'm serious, that iRobot, which was filled with 90% engineers at the time, could come up with. We then tried the Dust Puppy. Wisely rejected the Dust Puppy as well and outsourced to a third party, and I felt very dirty actually paying money to a marketing firm to come up with the name of the product, but it was part of my personal enlightenment and path from engineer into entrepreneur that tolerates and even embraces marketing as an expertise and legitimate field. Because, in fact, Roomba is rather better than the Dust Puppy or the CyberSuck. So we launched this robot, and it was year 2002, and we at the time, still steeped in our pure engineering culture, felt that advertising our product was somehow unclean. So the first TV commercial that was ever shown advertising the Roomba was not an American, North American TV commercial. It was actually a Korean TV commercial, and I share it with you now. Oh, it gets better. Yes. So our Korean partners decided the best way to market Roomba was with leather-clad models with giant explosions. And yes, so we felt justified in our skepticism of this media. And luckily for iRobot, we did enjoy and appreciate the media. And this is the one thing that we did most right. We distributed our product, made it available to the national press, and on launch day, this is a list of about 60 publications from the Wall Street Journal, 3-page article in Time Magazine, 3 articles in the USA Today, New York Times. This is the list of people who wrote about Roomba in the first 4 weeks of launch. And as a result, instead of selling 5,000 or 6,000 robots, which was, in our minds, success, we sold 50,000 robots in the first 3 months of after launch, and had a fantastic new opportunity. Now, we had the one robot. In 2003, we realized that we were selling both in Target and in the Sharper Image with the same product at the same price, which is not a sustainable strategy. So we came up with new versions. We basically painted the shell different colors and added a button. But it was the identical robot, and that allowed us to get some price point diversification, expand distribution, and things were going very well. And so we thought, this is fantastic. We're going to sell 1 million Roombas in the second year. So we built a tremendous amount of product. We brought it into our. I have to show you. We actually did make a TV commercial. This was our first TV commercial, and you'll see it is something that a respectable engineer can appreciate. It's all about the robot. It just shows the robot cleaning lots and lots of stuff.
Now there's a smarter way to vacuum. It goes places you can't.
So we did this commercial, and we thought it was pretty good, and then sales were flat. In fact, if you imagine it's now the first week after Thanksgiving, the largest shopping day of the year has passed, the day after Thanksgiving. We have an inventory up the wazoo, our warehouses filled to overflowing, scratching our heads, wondering what happened. This is a terrible potential disaster for us. And at iRobot, we would get everyone around at that time for 5 minutes every morning for a little check-in, what's going on. And it was, as I said, a week after Thanksgiving, and the guy running the website raises his hand and says, hey guys, why did sales triple yesterday? And we scratched our heads. We didn't know. We had no TV advertising. There was no PR that we knew about. There was no special promotion going on at the time. We really had no idea. And until one of the other guys said, you know, it wasn't exactly Roomba, but I did see this TV commercial. And here's the TV commercial. It's Dave Chappelle.
I'll be ready to go in a minute.
Take your time. A vacuum.
Beautiful. He called it a vacuum.
You like that, don't you? All right. Thirsty now, ain't you? Little Pepsi. Oh, man. Your vacuum cleaner ate my pants. There's nothing I could do.
Nothing,
Yes.
just like a
The
Pepsi.
vacuum cleaner ate my pants. There was nothing I could do. And sales tripled. I wanted to leave you with one last thought, because entrepreneurship is a lot like the story I just told you. This is actual events, and it is a lot like flying in an airplane that is being constructed as you fly in it. This is one of my metaphors for entrepreneurship. And the problem with actually being on this airplane that's being constructed as you fly in it is that it gives you this certain sense of unchanging and constant peril. And I'm here to tell you today that it is not. It is a wonderful adventure. It does not feel like that. In fact, if you feel like that, please instead think that it feels like winning. So thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the story.